Thanks for joining me today. This is Danny, and welcome back to my modded 1.9.4 series. Today we are going to be playing with Deep Resonance. Finally, I've been really excited to play with this mod for a while, and I've actually started doing a little bit of building over here in what is soon going to be kind of a power plant, I guess you could say, because I don't really want to build this thing too close to my base. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, radiation. Some of what we're going to be doing is going to cause radiation, which can not only cause bad, nasty effects to us, but it can also damage like nearby plants and animals and stuff like that. And the other reason is the potential for explosions. Now, the chances of an explosion are pretty slim, if as long as we don't do anything really stupid. Like let a creeper blow up by our crystal or something like that, or set off some dynamite near one of our very powerful crystals. And in the beginning we probably won't even have very powerful crystals, but the potential is there. And as we progress in this mod and the more powerful our crystals become, the greater the chance that there could be some kind of explosion. So we definitely don't want that happening by our base. We don't want our big hill there to become a big crater. So I'm gonna build kind of a power plant here, and this area is always crawling with mobs, so we do want to make sure that it's well protected and all that. Okay, I think I finally have everything I need, except for I'm waiting for some capacitor banks to auto-craft. But here's going to be our little... Well, I guess it's more of a lab now than a factory, as I was originally thinking. But this is going to be our little power plant, I guess. This is our danger zone. We will not want to step into that zone without this suit. This is... Oh. What? No, I didn't want to do that. Anyway, this is the radiation. That is weird. I did not think that was possible. Now how do I get it back? Yeah, whatever, I don't need that right now anyway. This is the radiation suit. We don't quite need that yet, but I just put that there for fun. So to get started with deep resonance, I found some crystals in the world. And these are just things you can find usually in caves and such. They're kind of somewhat rare, but you can use these to generate power, but they're usually pretty poor quality. So, and we'll get into that in a second, but I guess the first thing you'll want to do when you get into deep resonance is to make this guy, the deep resonance manual. Resonating ore, of course, you'll find in the world, and when you smelt it, it makes these resonating plates, which you're going to need for a lot of stuff in deep resonance. All of the machines that we make require a machine frame, which uses the resonating plates, and then lots of other stuff. The armor, or the the radiation suit requires resonating plates, and it's made just like regular armor. But to get started, if we just want to generate some power with these crystals, all we really need to do is set up a generator. Let's see, where do I want to put these guys? I guess I'll put this right there. I'm going to leave some room here because we're going to want to put some blocks there. And then we put a energy collector on the top of the generator. And then next to the generator, we put a generator controller. So the generator is a multi-block structure. And you can have multiple of these generator blocks. And the more you have, the more power it can generate. Having a single generator, you can generate up to 10,000 RF per tick, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 10,000 RF per tick with a single generator. I don't think we're going to be generating more than that today. We will in the future, for sure, but today we won't be. And then a little bit away from that, we want to put our crystal. I'm actually going to set a pedestal down, which we're going to use later. Oh, and that sets the crystal down. in front of it. Actually, I wanted it to set it down on top of it. So that's what they look like when you find them in the world. Do I have... Here, let's see. I think if I do this... Yeah, now it's facing up. So now if we put the crystal in there, it'll set it on the top. And then if we put a chest next to this guy, once the crystal is spent, it'll put it in the chest. But for the time being, if we want to generate power... Oh, wait. We do need some place to put this power, don't we? You know what? I'm going to... Darn it. I'm going to move this whole thing over. So the energy collector is going to collect energy from the crystal. And the generator is going to generate RF from the energy collected. And the generator controller will turn this on and off. So we can put a lever on here. If we had one, we could put a lever on here, and then it would start generating power. I have a capacitor bank. I'm actually going to have another one. The capacitor bank has a max input-output of 5,000, but you can multi-block it. So I've got another one out of crafting. As soon as that one's done, we'll have a max input-output of 10,000, which will match our generator. So that is pretty cool. But now, if we put a lever on this guy and go like this, we'll start generating power. Hooray! And we'll see we are generating 66 RF per tick. And I also happen to make this radiation monitor so we can see how much radiation we got going on. Oh. Oh, it's spent already. Okay. We used up all the power in this crystal, and if we had a chest next to the next to this guy, it would have put it in that chest instead of just throwing it on the ground. So let's just put that in there. We are going to use these later. They will come in handy. So let's see. We now have 263. Okay, so let's throw another crystal here. These are also not very great. No radiation detected. So that radiation has cleared up already. So when we start getting high levels of radiation, a lot of things are going to happen. The first thing we'll notice is our character will get hunger. That's the first thing. And then we get slowness when there's more radiation. And when there's even more, see, now we're starting to get hunger. So actually, let's just shut this off for now and see how much. The third level is poison, and the fourth level is wither. So if we get really nasty stuff. And then beyond that, it'll start killing stuff. Like if we get really high radiation, it's going to start killing, even like the dirt is going to become this nasty poison dirt. And all the plants will die around here. If we had a garden nearby, everything would die. Or if we had a farm or whatever. So yeah, so this guy was producing 23 RF per tick for us. But of course we can do a lot better than that. This is just the crystals that we find in the world are going to be pretty poor quality. And we're not going to get a lot of RF from them, and they're also going to be low purity, which means that not only are we not going to get a lot of RF from them, but we're also going to get a lot of radiation. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get some crystals that have a greater purity. While we're at it, we might as well get greater efficiency and strength as well. To do that, we're going to need a purifier, but what we give our purifier is liquid crystal. Liquid crystal, so we have to have a smelter set up. We're going to need a tank on the bottom for lava, and then we're going to need the smelter on top of the tank, and then we're going to need a tank on top. Oh, that one's configured, so we'll just put that, and then we need a tank on the top where it's going to put the molten crystal. So what we need to do here is we need this tank to be filled about 50% full with lava. The tank holds 16 buckets, so that means we're going to need about 8 buckets or 8,000 millibuckets of lava in this tank at all times. So what we're probably going to want to do, I mean, we could set up a redstone comparator on there and stuff and have something complicated like that, but it would probably make a lot more sense to just use the RF Tools liquid monitor, which will just output a redstone based on how much fluid is in a nearby tank. Okay, so I've got a tank of lava here, and then I've got a tank well, we've got the RF tools tank here that we want to be between 40 and 60%. So I've got a fluid conduit coming out of here, and it's set to extract on redstone signal. So it's only going to extract, and we're inserting on this side, and we had to right click on here with an empty hand. Then we set down our our liquid monitor from RF tools, and we're going to have to turn it. We have to turn it so that thing is down there. There we go. Okay. And then we tell it this tank is less than 50% output. Okay, yay, it worked. So we have 9100. Okay, so that is 56, 57%, something like that. If we were to take a bucket and take some out of here, we would see that it should, oh, it's still not below 50% yet. So there is a little bit of a delay from the time that the redstone signal stops and the time that it actually stops moving liquid. So the maximum is 60%, so make sure that you don't set this to 60% because you're going to end up getting more than 60%. But if we take this out, we should see that it's putting more in again. So now we're at 8200. Okay, so half a stack of resonating ore should give us just enough to make one crystal. So if you put a full stack in, you can make 2 crystals. So I've got a power cell that we can use. Of course, we're going to be generating a whole bunch of power here, but this is just to kind of get us going. This is pulling power from home, and we will be using this power cell eventually to send power back home, because this guy needs power. Oh, and we have to tell this guy to output. There we go. So it's going to consume a little bit of lava as it's working, and it's going to melt this, and it's going to end up in this tank. Now you do want to use the deep resonance tanks because they will allow you to mix the liquid crystal with different properties. Why is it showing me 0 out of 1600? Something's not quite right here. Okay, well I had to leave and come back before it would show me the information about the fluid in there. It was weird because I could see the fluid in there, but it was saying there was nothing in there. And it looks like it's not updating now either as it's adding more. So I guess when this is done, I'm going to have to relog again. But we've got a quality of... Okay, I guess I need to turn this down because the fluid tanks are letting the fluid pipes are letting way too much in here. But no, even that shouldn't have been too much though. Okay, well, whatever. So we're back up to 10%. Strength 10%, efficiency 10%. So we want to bring that purity up first. That's going to be kind of our first item on our agenda. We put our purifier over here, and we give it filters. And we're going to want to pipe filters into it. We'll set that there. That turns us into a multi-block tank. So all that fluid is now in both tanks. Okay, so now it's purifying the fluid up there. And we can tell that it's purifying it because it's shooting out spent filters all over the place. And we're going to need to keep those. But I'm going to have to put a chest in the back of this thing so that it'll catch those things. But you can see our purity is going up. And we're going to need those very shortly to... Oh my gosh, it's shooting them outside. Boy, it uses those things quickly. Okay, so I'm going to put a chest back here, and it should output them, the spent filters into that chest now, instead of just throwing them all over the place. So we're going to use these later to make some a radiation barricade here. We have a quality of 99.4%. So somewhere along the line, either the lava tank became more than 50 or more than 60% full, or less than 40% full. Either of those things would cause our quality to go under 100%. If it stayed between 40 and 60, we should have ended up with 100%. Our purity is now 84.5%, which is the highest that we can get with a purifier. The purity basically tells us how much radiation this thing is going to produce. Like this one has a purity of 1.26. It's going to produce a lot of radiation. And the higher the strength, the higher the RF per tick, or the higher the more radiation it's going to produce. So if we're going to be producing a crystal that has a lot of strength, we definitely want it to be very pure. We're going to have so much radiation that we're going to have big problems. Strength is basically how much RF it has in total, like how much is stored in that crystal, or how much it's capable of producing. And then the efficiency is how much RF per tick. So theoretically we could have a low efficiency and a high strength and it'll just last a really, really long time. We want to get our purity higher, our strength or efficiency higher. We're going to need a lens and an infusing laser. And they have to be placed with an empty block between them. So this is not an empty block because it has the lens in it. This would be the empty block, and then the laser has to go here. Not there, not there, here. So we'll put that there, and then we want this facing, of course, the lens. There it is. So this guy needs some RF. So we're going to need some pipes. And then it also needs a spent crystal. I mean, we could actually use one of these crystals because they're not that great anyway, but no sense in wasting a crystal. So this is why you want to save your spent crystals. So that gave us 2065. And now we need a catalyst. Alright, so here's a few of the catalysts that we can use. This isn't all of them, but these are ones that I have available. There's also nether stars, gas tiers. All these things on the top increase purity. So diamonds, emeralds, and ender pearls. Emeralds the most, diamonds next, and then ender pearls only do it a little bit. And this next row of stuff is all stuff that increases strength and efficiency at the cost of purity. So for instance, redstone just gives us strength. Gunpowder gives us plus 8% strength, plus 4% efficiency, but it takes away 5% purity. Netherwort, strength at the cost of purity and efficiency. So that one's not very good necessarily. Now prismarine, both of the prismarines, the shards give us a plus 3% efficiency and strength. The crystals, the prismarine crystals gives us plus 4% strength and efficiency, and they don't have any cost. They don't take away anything. And then down here we've got nether quartz, which removes 1% purity and it adds 7% efficiency. And then both gold and ingot give us efficiency at the cost of strength. So 1% each efficiency, minus 1% for gold of strength and minus 2% of strength for iron. And then snowball gives us purity and efficiency. But now these all have maximums too. In fact, the snowball gives us a maximum of 30% purity. We're already beyond that. And a maximum of 40% efficiency. So you'll want to look at the wiki because obviously you're not going to remember all that stuff just for me telling you. But that's just some examples. I think, let's see. Now I don't mind losing purity because we have our purifier. And we've got plenty of filters left. So the purifier will purify it'll give us back any purity that we lose. Now keep in mind though that because we have a quality of 99.4%, that is going to put a cap on our other things, but I think that should be fine. So let's do the prismarine, even though we only have 2 of them, but we'll see what that does. So when you put it in there, it tells you. So cap of 30%. This is strength and this is efficiency. So the prismarine shards are going to raise both our strength and efficiency, and it doesn't give us any penalty at all. And each catalyst will affect 500 millibuckets of our fluid, so make sure you have at least 500 millibuckets in there, otherwise you'll just end up wasting your stuff. And we do need a redstone signal. I could have swore I had 2 levers. I don't know where my other one went. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we'll give this guy, let's put this over here, give this guy a redstone signal, and we should see it infusing our stuff. So we now have strength of 11.2 and an efficiency of 11.2, and then we can put this in there. I think, yeah, I've got 2 of these as well. So we should see our strength and efficiency go up again. Hooray! And that's all I have of that. So I'm gonna do, whoops, I'm gonna do gunpowder now. But now we have to be careful because remember, the gunpowder is gonna give us both strength and efficiency, but we're going to lose purity. If our purity drops below 0, or if it drops to 0, we're gonna lose fluid. It's just going to be destroyed. So we do need to be careful about that. Of course, you know, we're going to set up some automation at some point that checks for that sort of thing. Let's put 16 in there for now and just keep an eye on this. You can see our purity is dropping. But you saw it just went back up, and that's because of our purifier. We need to make sure that we have enough filters in there. So now that our purity is going back up, at the cost of filters, of filter material. But filter material is actually relatively cheap. Oh, this, by the way, is Immersive Craft. This is the same mod author, the same guy, MacLeod, who does Deep Resonance and RF Tools. And what else does he do? There's, well, RF Tools Dimensions, of course. When we're done, then I'll start using the purity catalysts, because we don't want to use the purity catalyst now, because this guy can get us up to 84%, and like I said, the filters are cheap. So we're gonna wait until we're done destroying our purity and then let this thing get it all the way up to 84%, so that we don't waste our valuable catalysts. Okay, so these are basically maxed out. While the strength and the efficiency are basically maxed out at this point, that's the highest we can get with gunpowder. And if the only thing that will get us anything higher than that is a nether star, which can bring us up to 100%, or gas tiers, and we would need a few gas tiers, because they would each bring us up 25% strength and 15% efficiency with a maximum of 100%. So now it might be a good time for us to purify it. Now you notice we're not quite at 70% strength and we're not quite at 60% efficiency, even though that's the maximum that we could get with gunpowder. And that's probably because our quality isn't 100%, because it's 99.4%. So I guess we'll throw some diamonds in there now. So each diamond is going to raise 5% of 500 millibuckets. Brings it up 5%, and it does nothing to strength or efficiency. And you can see we have a different colored beam. Before we get this crystal going, we're definitely going to be shielding ourselves from radiation over here. So why don't we actually get started talking about this. Now there's a couple things we can use. We can use obsidian and we can use blocks of lead. Those will block us from radiation to a certain extent, but they don't work quite as well as... Uh-oh, what was that? Oh, okay, that's exactly what we wanted. Let's see how much power we got out of that. Not a whole lot, but yeah, a decent amount. Okay, so we're gonna put this here. Okay, I think that's the highest we can get right now. So anyway, the dense glass works much better, as does the dense obsidian. So I'm gonna make some of that, and that's what we're gonna be using the spent filters for. So now that we have liquid crystal that we're happy with, we need to pipe that into a tank that has the crystallizer on top of it. And this guy also needs RF. So there's a block called a valve that we can use to specify all of the qualities that we want in our liquid crystal, and it will allow the liquid crystal to pass through to another tank if it meets those requirements. We're not going to use that right now, just because we're doing this manually. So there's really no point. So we're going to insert here and extract up here, and I'm just going to manually turn this on and off. So right now, so we'll say always active right now, so that it pulls all that fluid out. And it should end up down here. Oh, oh, and I have to tell this guy to accept, and have to tell this guy, if I can get back there, to... Okay, there we go. Hooray! So now it's all down here, and you can see, check that out, that is really cool. I love that. You can see the crystal forming. It's 4%. So while that's going on, I did make some dense obsidian. There. Now we should be pretty well protected. No radar, or no radiation detected. Well, there's none in here either. I did a little bit on this back wall too, just to kind of protect this area. And I ran out of the deep or dense obsidian and glass, so I used lead. But I tried to use the dense stuff wherever, like, the most concentrated stuff is going to be, and that's going to be, like, you know, right here. So we can see the radiation level in here is going up. Oh, it shows up in the upper left too while we're holding this. Oh, that's cool. And I bet we could put it in our... Oh no, it doesn't work in the offhand. Oh, that's too bad. So we can get out of here, and now we can see the oh, there is radiation over here, but it's not nearly as much. Well, this guy got stuck at 43%. We ran out. So somehow either I miscalculated or maybe we lost some because we had too much lava. Because if your lava goes over 60%, you can lose stuff. But yeah, it actually does seem like I got a lot more now this time, doesn't it? 9,400. Okay, so we're gonna do this again, but this time I'm gonna start out with glowstone dust. Glowstone dust, it caps at 50%, so we can actually get more with the gunpowder, but the glowstone takes away 2% of purity, adds 6% of strength, and 3% efficiency. So I'm going to use glowstone dust until we get up to 50%, and then I'll use gunpowder for the rest of it. Now I'm doing quartz. So here's my efficiency formula. First I start with redstone. No, not redstone. Glowstone until I get up to 50% strength and efficiency. Then I use the gunpowder to get me up to 70% strength, because it seems like it always gives me strength faster than the efficiency. And then we can use quartz to just raise the efficiency, and that has a cap of 80%, which is higher, which is actually the highest aside from nether star and gas tiers. And then once that's done and the purifier gets us up to 85% or 84% purity, then we can do the diamonds. Okay, I think I'm happy with these specs. So I'm just gonna go back here and make that active so we can start making some more. Whoa. I think there's a little glitch there. Okay, I had to log out and log back in again, but now it's working. You can see that it's pulling fluid from here and our percentage is going up. Hooray! And I think we have enough to make a couple crystals in here now, because I think it's about 3,200 millibuckets, which is about 32 ore. So we must have lost a bunch last time. I don't know what happened there. Hey, we got it! A resonating crystal. Purity. How much is left here? 6,000. So we actually have enough to make another, but that's okay. We just need one right now. I'm wearing my radiation suit. So I can blink into here and I don't have to worry about getting any nasty effects. Actually, let's turn this off. So I just have the redstone going through there with a piece of redstone. Let's get this out of here. Actually, I'm just going to put that in there because we're not going to have any use for these crystals anymore. We'll use those in our, because you can actually put, I already did this because I had a whole bunch of these resonating crystals that I just found laying around. And you can put these in here. Normally you would want to put spent crystals in here, but if you've got some crappy crystals, you can put them in here too. Just don't put your good crystals in there because you'll lose them. And I guess we could just set that there, or we could put it inside. The nice thing about this thing, this pedestal, is that you can pipe the crystals into here. So after they're made from there, you can automate this. And we'll be doing that. We'll be automating a lot of this stuff over time. But right now we're just worried about getting it working. So I've got an RF monitor over here that's looking at this capacitor bank, and it's outputting a well, it's not doing anything yet, but I'm going to set it up to output a redstone signal when this thing is less than 91%. So when this thing is up to 91% full, some crystals are too powerful for this size generator. Really? Oh wow, okay. Let's just turn this off. Holy crap. Oh, I guess I made it a little bit I made it a little bit too efficient. So we're gonna have to make a bigger generator. 14,000 RF per tick. Alright, so I made another RF Tools power cell and a power cell card. And if you remember from last time, we take this card and we go into this power cell, which has a link card in it, and we stick it here to link it. So now this card is linked to this power cell. Before I even set this down, because I don't want power getting pulled out here. I only want this to be a one-way street. I want this pushing power to our base. So I'm going to set the power cell right here, and we're going to tell this guy output right there. Yeah. So we put this power cell here, and then we give it the link card. Wait, here. So now it's linked. You can see that that is actually coming from the rest of our base. And it should be, oh wait, and okay, and then it should be pulling power from here as well. Okay, I've got two more generators, and it should be fine like that. Yep, 150,000. Okay, let's see how this goes. So we're going to set this guy to emit a redstone signal when this thing is less than 91% full. There we go, look at that. Plus 14,837 RF per tick. Nice. That is freaking awesome. 99% left. Alright, let's see how our radiation is doing. About 10,000. It's a good thing we're wearing our radiation suit, because we would be hurting right now. Uh-oh, what happened? We're full. Oh my god. Okay, so I've got the logic gate set up, and the red is the output, and then the three blues are the input. So I had to turn it until it was facing the generator controller, and I have to face in this direction in order to understand, but that's A, that's B, that's C. So if B and C have a redstone signal, then we're going to emit a redstone signal. Otherwise, any other condition is off. So right now, this is emitting a redstone signal because our capacitor bank is below 99%. But the lever is off. So both of these conditions have to be true in order for it to work. So if I flip the switch, it'll turn on now. But it'll only stay on as long as we're under 99%. But I can completely disable it. I can override it, I completely disable it, and now that will never run, no matter what happens to our capacitor bank, until I flip that lever. This is the energy monitor from Ender.io. It's similar to the RF Tools power monitor, or RF monitor, except that we can specify a range. So we can say, emit a redstone signal when it's less than 75% full, and then stop when it's greater than 99% or equal. So instead of like running for 2 seconds and then shutting off right away, it's actually going to wait until the power gets down to a certain point, and then it'll keep running until it gets almost full. Let's, just so that we can test this, let's say 95%. There we go. There we go. Hooray! So at some point in the future, we will be automating this process. But if you do have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Or if you have any ideas, comments, suggestions, or if you just want to say hello, please feel free to do so. And I hope you join me next time when we will be playing Blood Magic again, and heading to Tier 5, and probably doing a bunch of Wither fights, and maybe some other fun Blood Magic stuff. And don't forget to click the like button if you did enjoy this video. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.